these calls.
Mhm.
So next Thursday with the interview on Aiden, am I gonna say this? Like I told Aiden that it's going to be a secret, but I think I wanna show. Do you see the ladder there?
Um, yes, I do. Are
Yes,
you
I'm gonna
going
be
to be
up
on the
there.
roof? Oh my god, this is actually so cool.
So how do I do this? Let's make this a little bit smaller. So I've been kind of I'm gonna abuse this call a little bit to plan for next Thursday and see how to set this up. Um, because I kind of think about putting this tripod. I cannot switch the camera, can I? Yeah, since we're recording, I cannot switch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but can I show this myself? No. But like, so I have this table here,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna put the tripod on top, and then kind of put the whole table on the roof. And since it's a saddle roof, um, like I've already had a call with her route like this to
Mm-hmm.
test it out, and it
Wait, on
does
the
work
roof or just outside?
on the roof. I have
Oh
multiple
my
calls
god,
outside all the
that's
time.
freaking
um,
crazy, honestly.
uh, so how is that? I probably need to like set things up a little bit more before though.
Yeah, like, do you even see the screen okay because of the sun?
The screen is perfect, yeah.
Okay.
So I'd be kind of like sitting here, and then um,
Now you're kind of
the,
to the
the
side.
problem is like I don't look at the camera though. I'll
Mm-hmm.
probably not use the tripod, but like use a clip
What
up.
if you lower it though? Can you lower it more?
Mm, not with this tripod. Like it is already. Yeah, I cannot. That is the lowest it does get.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, but uh, it kind of like has this nice vibe on like the like sometimes you see the the monitor in the screen as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think for that I'd have to set it up differently. Um, this works. Yeah. So, how you been? What's going on?
I've been great. I mean, you've been obviously better because you're outside. That's okay. Um, yeah, how have I been? Pretty cool. Today, no tribe because Shalom and Jess have an anniversary. So,
Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
Um,
Congrats to them.
yeah, definitely. Um, I've talked to the school cats yesterday. It was pretty fun. I don't know. It was just a chill start of the week for me.
That's cool.
And you?
Yeah. It's like a lot of things are happening. So the YouTube video for Hermosi is kind of blowing up. I'm like at 1.4K now.
Cool.
Um, so that's going very well. I just uploaded another synthesizer video on the Quest system. So that's kind of like how what I connected the post for today about,
Yes.
and I also posted that in synthesizer, and that's getting some really good tractions, and it already got pinned, which is great. And yeah, kind of preparing for the call on Thursday. So um, yeah, I kind of like moved things back to the game plan because this used to be the night guild
Mhm.
in that way. But I'm currently, if we do talk like game plan and strategy, and I think I'd like this to turn into that, like
Mhm.
the place where we can talk strategy and like, okay, what's your plan? In like the three big games that we're all playing in health, wealth, and relationships.
Yeah.
And yeah, currently I'm playing a lot harder in wealth
Yeah.
because I think there are certain seasons and you
100%.
can only truly have one priority, but I think there's like a priority for seasons. Because I don't think you should have, for example, wealth as your priority always. But sometimes it's like, okay, right now I need to prioritize that. And then at other times you may want to prioritize relationships. And then at other times you may want to prioritize health. So um yeah, kind of thinking about this and like then just talking strategy around that feels very aligned, and something that I we talked about this separately. Kind of the kind of offers that we can make, and a strategy that I don't really see anyone do is the affiliate strategy on just becoming an affiliate hero for multiple communities. So that's why, like, I think if you just build out a content strategy where you attract a lot of leads and then figure out a system to qualify them, because everyone is at a different parts of their journey, but like everyone has a current obstacle, and if we make this about just overcoming the next obstacle, um then this is great. And I always thought like I needed to have my own thing that I'm doing, but um I kind of just like to for me to become this one thing. And it's like, okay, let me just connect to other communities to really be the bridge that connects us in that way, because that's what I ultimately love to do. Um, so yeah, currently going more in that direction. But yeah, creating content consistently, thinking about just making videos for other people, and that's kind of like what actually I want to share this. Like this is a bit of a win on my side that I feel like sharing. And if we have people joining us live, you can just kind of like request to join, get up here. We have a chat. Um, and kind of like go over our strategy. But in the beginning, it's a little bit on like, okay, what's happening? What kind of wins do we have? And yeah, what I want to share here. So if we reload this, then we see that I'm pinned here already. And something that I absolutely like. Um, so what Andrew wrote here is like synthesizer's first content ambassador. And then I kind of like I was like, okay, yeah, shared mission unites us all. And then Aiden knighted me. Oh god. And then we have the scene from Game of Thrones. Um, but
That's like
yeah,
genuinely
like
so cool.
I I I think just doing these kind of things is a strategy that um, I want to coin, and I don't see a lot of other people do that. And we've been talking a lot about like the team unity aspect and like how we can kind of connect this into the ground is very uneven, so I'm trying to like find a spot that I'm not wobbly. That works. So finding a way to make this strategy work, um, and like I still want to move in that direction on helping people with like whatever bottleneck they have, but like I realize that like doing everything myself is just too much, and you can just do one thing. But I always had a hard time choosing this one thing. The whole aspect of you can do anything but not everything, and I I've been looking for this one thing, this one piece, if you say, for so long, and I never really knew what it specifically was. But I think if I make the one thing to just connect other people to each other. And that's kind of what community is at its core. That's what I feel like games do. It's like when you play games with someone, then you are connected. And um, yeah, I think that's just the thing that I'm choosing and kind of like going all in. And that allows me to continue create content, which is something that I'm like really enjoying. And like I've enjoyed that before I got results. And now as results are coming in, like it's just like obviously even better. So um yeah, so much to that. I have a few things to share, but
Like,
yeah, we kind of yeah.
yeah, before you do that, I want to kind of clarify, is this like your final offer now? Like focusing on the affiliates and connecting everything, sort of?
Yeah, I don't think I have an offer per se. Like my
Okay.
offer is school
Yeah.
essentially, or that's what I want my offer to be.
Yeah.
I want to help people kind of like understand how cool school actually is, and I think this cannot be done by a single community, because that's not what is making out school. School is cool because there's so many communities that you can join, and it's like the whole is so much bigger than just the sum of its parts. And if you're only part of like one or two communities, then I think you're just missing out, and it's very hard to get the value out of just one community. But i I think you can build a a holistic system with communities that support all of your interests, because over time there will just be um, so many communities that kind of connect you to everything that you're already doing, right? Because like we're all doing some form of sports, so like that's what the sport category is for. And like I bet you'll find the sport that you're doing in a community and get to connect with other people around that. And like the same thing applies to like video games. Like there's going to be specific communities about like specific games. Like there are already ones about teaching League of Legends and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm to answer your question directly, I'm just focusing on connecting people to communities. Um, I do have a few clients that I'm working with, and I'm adding, for example, my Notion expertise to their offer that they're selling it, but it's not my offer. It's just something that I add on top, and I'm happy to do more of that. Um, to just add myself to other people and kind of like add this connection. Um, but yeah, does that make sense? Because like sometimes I have these like um spur of the moments, and like obviously it's a nice day, and like I just had a win, and I'm kind of like I'm not sure if I'm just afraid of choosing one, so like I avoid not doing that. Um, but I don't know, like everything kind of points in that direction, and um, yeah, what do you think?
I mean, you said that you've been talking to a few people now about the offer, and I mean, you mentioned it to me a couple of times that like everything points to that. So, I mean, you can most certainly try to do that. Like, I don't see why you shouldn't. So, yeah, I mean, it is not a standard offer. I'll tell you that, but you can see if it
Well,
works.
yeah, let's do see if it works.
Yeah.
Um, and I think mm, I think we have to like ultimately follow the thing that are calling to us, and sometimes um, there's a very thin line between doing the thing that works or actually doing something that let's put it like this. There's a reason why maybe no one else has tried it before. Maybe because it's a genius idea and like it's perfect, or because it actually doesn't work. So um, I've always kind of erred on the side. I was like, okay, let me see if I can make it work. And so far, I never really hit true with that specifically. Like I did have like some results and some successes, but never something that was like worth doubling down onto. But I think with just content and like I love being in front of a camera. I love being kind of like talking about things and teaching stuff. And I I never wanted to just teach one thing. And I think just embracing this ambassador role um and just the beauty is like I don't have to be just one ambassador. Like I can be an ambassador for synthesizer. I can be an ambassador for like achieving greatness. I can be an ambassador for Ryan. Because like they all have different offers, and I think um just kind of like connecting people to them is also the thing that makes school grow. Because if people get introduced to some really good communities early on, the chances of them staying is much higher. And I think if you just start your community and people are just within that circle of influence, it's very hard to keep them engaged because people have like other things to do. But as soon as you start connecting other interests of them, then you give them a much bigger reason to return. And I think if you just have one community, like let's make this like more actionable. Like how many communities are you regularly returning to?
Maybe like 5, 6, I
Yeah,
would
there
say
you go.
regularly. Yeah.
So like if you only had one community, like how quickly would you just like not return? If you just had one reason to kind of like just one community to be active in, it's like I feel like you need a really good system to then like keep people in there. But as soon as you start branching out and connecting them to others, I mean, what? Maybe I'm just crazy and like I don't know what I'm talking about. But I think like just continuously creating content and building a brand is never a bad thing. And I like the aspect of being able to say that I don't have anything to sell to you. Like I find this very attractive because it's also like the um that's what Hermosi started with.
Yeah.
And um
I
but
think
he built
like
it from like the top down. I'm thinking like, can I build this from the bottom up?
yeah, yeah. But like what you mentioned about building a brand and not being able, like basically not having something to sell, I feel like it just makes like building connections way easier because there is like nothing in the back of like people's mind that maybe he'll try to sell me something. So yeah, I can definitely see how that can benefit you as like being an ambassador of a lot of communities and not having like your own offer per se.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm still figuring it out. Like I was really close to just going into the I create content for you, like a done for you content system.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm kind of moving away from like I'm not necessarily moving away, but like I am helping a community called the Balance Creator, and they're kind of doing that. I was like, okay, like why should I do the same thing? Um, and like have a separate offer to that if it like just leads to their offer. So I think I can just leverage them and kind of like also connect them to other communities, because I think there's so many um oh, this is an interesting conversation because I think you kind of fall in that direction. And I'm just like curious on your take on that, because um if you like really follow her mostly directly, it's like all about the hustle, the grind, the don't just do your best, do the thing that is required. And I feel like you embody that spirit very well. um so but I feel like there is a drawback of that, because if you really like do the thing that is required and you do this over and over again, um, it's a little bit like burning the candle on both ends, because uh, you end up sacrificing sleep, you end up sacrificing relationships, you end up sacrificing your health for these things. And I I feel like going a little bit slower and thinking more on in terms of the um yeah, I just feel like a lot of creators are unbalanced and they just kind of like go after the grind without sleeping, without exercising. And I feel like this is taking away from their productivity, because if you don't sleep or if you don't exercise, then you're actually performing at a lower level. So just doing more at some point isn't working anymore. Because yeah, I'm curious what you think about that. We kind of have talked about this somewhat, but I'm just curious to dive a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah, totally. I would 100% agree with everything you said. So, like, for me at least, I know 100% that, like, if I sacrifice sleep for like more than 2 days, then my productivity will die down a lot. So, I just cannot not sleep 8 hours. Um, but for me, it's like we've talked about in the beginning, it's seasons. So,
Yeah.
you would focus on wealth and like I feel like I just like to go all in and then go all in like a different area. But I don't personally like to balance like few things because I feel like this way you're not really like putting your soul into any of them because you're not
Mm,
focusing on one thing. So I would say like once I get to my goal with wealth, then I would focus on my health. And
gotcha.
yeah, for me it's seasons.
Okay. So what's your game plan
My game
then?
plan is to get to 15K a month by the end of this year. Just kind of a output goal. Input wise, I plan to work with Tribe and just help them out as much as I can and learn as much as I can. Um, and Also, there is my community, which I also have been planning on doing something with it for quite a few weeks now, but it should be good. Um, And For me, I plan to make it a free community because I just don't have time to invest into something that people pay to be in. So I just won't be able to provide them the amount of value that they're paying for.
But what do you
Which,
mean they don't have time to pay?
no, I don't have time to fulfill.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yes. That's why I wanted to be free and going kind of a like just having something good in there over time, but focusing on the community aspect at first. So yeah, and then there is Game of Life and School Cats community for me. So kind of what I'm focusing on this side, I would say.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Um I I feel like we're on a similar path there, because and like also what you said about the focus, because you can't like you can only really put all of your effort and energy into one thing. and you can only have one priority because prio, like the definition is one. So you cannot have multiple priorities. There can only be one priority. So um, yeah, kind of like following that, I quite like, and I also don't think you can build a community at the same time as like delivering a lot of things, as well as like networking as well. So that's why I came up with we came up together to a degree with the knights who are in marketing, the rangers who are in the conversions and sales, and then the wizards who are working in the operations and the background. And I still believe that doubling down on one of these is a much better strategy than trying to do all of them at a mediocre level. Because if you want to be exceptional at one thing, then you need to like really put all your energy into this one thing. But I think over time you can build multiple of these things, and like again, seasons makes a big difference on that. Um, but yeah, uh, I quite like that. So what are you currently? Have you seen uh the video on the Mistborn? Because like you have gone through the first book already,
I
right?
have not seen. Is there a video on Mistborn?
I published it yesterday.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah,
I want to watch it ASAP. Like I'm
I,
actually writing it down as my to-do item.
I'm excited for you to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Um, because that's like another thing that I just want to kind of connect people and like give them. It's like, hey, these are. It sounds so weird, but like figuring out the meta of life. It's like, hey, these are the best sports that you can do, and these are the best roadmap that you can follow towards like financial freedom, and this is the best way to optimize your sleep or your exercise or your relationships and all of these things. And like also these are the best stories to listen to or the best games to play, and just kind of like creating the meta for life. That's something that I've been like wanting to do for so long, and I still haven't really figured out a way to do it in a way that it makes sense to others. um yeah, but I feel like we're getting there. So something that I'm almost doing, and maybe you do something similar because you also work multiple things, but I feel like there is a common thread that connects all of them on your side. So um while you kind of like go over that, I feel like do you have something like that maybe top of your mind, because you've been saying like you've been like working with Tribe and Schoolcat and you have your merch community, like what's the common thread for all of these?
Yeah. So there's actually two. Um, I would say it like also to kind of give you some context. For me, I see it like as a pie, like percentage pie. So 70% like of my
Hmm.
focus is on Tribe. So that's like the number one thing I'm focusing on. Then I have around 10% goes to my community, and then around 10% to yours and to the School Cat as of now. And I feel like they're changing often. Um, but
Ooh,
I
I
would,
really like that distribution,
yeah,
because you
thanks.
have like one big thing that you
Yes.
put your energy in, and then you're nurturing other things that kind of like will will pay out dividends in the long term.
Yes, exactly. Um, so I would say again, Tribe is kind of a very much of a learning opportunity for me, and I also absolutely love working with the team. And again, I'm learning so much about business, about leadership, about all kinds of stuff. So that is like one big thing for me. And what connects the Skull Cat Game of Life in my community is I'm learning more specific skills. So more like growth operating, I would say. So specifically like school focused. So
Mm,
that would be the thread that connects all of that. Is it because I get to do, for example, in school cat, like in his two communities, I'm doing like mostly only wizard work because I almost like never in the community and I just do all the background stuff. Um, but yeah, so now that it's kind of done, we're moving somewhere else because both of his communities are going live. The second one especially. So yeah, and for you, it's more like a ranger role. So
yeah.
yeah, and for myself, it's more like a knight role because like I have to get people into the community, and you already have people in the community. So the bottleneck there is to convert them. So I would say I'm just doing, like you've mentioned that it's good to focus on just one thing, which I completely agree on. But I feel like in order to do that, you also need to have kind of a base level of each of those skills, like not a specialist level, but just kind of a base one, and then you pick one and you like go all in on that.
I do agree. I kind of just I meant it in a different way though.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, because I think there's more of a common theme that connects all of them, and because like everything that you've mentioned could be like, well, community, right? Like all of these aspects are part of community, or you could also frame it around gamification, or kind of like framing it around um connecting to the right people. Um, so I think if you have this like one direction that you're going, and like in this directions, like sometimes you need to like pick up a shield, sometimes you need to pick up a bow, but like you're still going in that like direction. And um yeah, I feel like uh but for you, it's okay. Let's not get like too. I feel like we can go in like forever. Let's keep it to this year. The focus is 100% school. I think we can agree on that. But something that I'd like to kind of like go over, because we have 20 more minutes, so I'd like to dedicate like 10 minutes into how I currently think about one of the best ways that people can um go through the journey on school. So this is how I have organized um, this along these lines here. So I like to pin like these different communities. So I think like generally what I start with is the game of life, and that's kind of like where I'm trying to get most people into. Then kind of like getting people into the schooler. Actually, I think synthesizer comes first, then schooler, then the free to understand. Maybe first free, then schooler, then meet with data, then paid, achieve greatness, and then it would be eventually team unity. Um, so do you agree with that? Do you think there should be like a different order of things? Because like I'm thinking about like what's what are steps that people should be taking within the school ecosystem?
Well,
I feel like
I
maybe
think,
putting Captivate in there somewhere.
yeah, I agree. I think like it also depends on their goal. So, do they want to make money on school? Do they want to make friends on school? But I would honestly think maybe Achieve Greatness would go higher because it's more beginner friendly,
That
possibly.
is true. That is actually very true. I was kind of thinking in terms of the money aspect,
Yeah.
um, but because achieving greatness is $200,
Hmm.
um, but you are right. It is more beginner friendly. Um, okay, so that's one thing that I wanted to do. Another thing is I recently reworked um the Notion side of things. So This is actually now the new template. So when people join in on the community, actually, let me open this up here. So this is kind of what I am offering for free for everyone to join. So let me open this and then I can share. There you are. I need to share my entire screen. We have some comments. Can you check what they are?
Yes, it's Dio.
Nice. How you doing, Dio? Um. So um. This is currently the template that I've been creating over the past 4 years. Oh, wait, 21. Yeah, it's 4 years. Holy shit. So I think these are like I'm constantly trying to make it less because you want to remove frustrations. You don't want to like add things to it. And I've been like steadily like decreasing things and saying like, okay, like what can I do without? For example, I started with 90 areas. Now I have three. Um
90 areas.
yes, because
Can
like
you like
so
can you even remember 90 areas?
it was a memory exercise for me. Like I've
Okay.
been like whenever I was like swimming, I would see if I could like get all of them. And then eventually I had 30, and like I organized all of the things that I was doing into 30 areas, and then um me switching to 10 was already a huge step, and recently I switched to only 3. So like I also only use these 3 areas at the moment. So that's what I say about like we are all playing these infinite games where we win by playing. We want to stay healthy, we want to stay wealthy, and we want to stay connected in our relationships. So for all of these, we have different quests, and I think this is at the core of what we're doing. And this is also like this quest system is the thing that I shared with the synthesizer. So specifically here, I broke this down into like smaller aspects. And this is the first time I did a quest like this specifically. Like before, I had multiple quests about yoga, or I did my overview on 100 million offers and leads, but I haven't really turned them into something that is more actionable. And it's like, hey, what are the 3 sources of knowledge that you're mostly interested in? Find these in the GPT. Time block things. Like actually, step by step, these are all the things that you need to do to like get your first client. And I think according to Aiden, this roadmap like is like designed to get people to 10K per month. If you just actually follow these things. So I'm currently like I already got my first client, but I'm also like working on case studies specifically. And now I'm thinking about how can I just be valuable to other people. Um and yeah, that's kind of like how I designed the quests. Um I don't think you have seen it in that form. Like, what do you think?
No, this is like the first time I'm seeing this. And I like that it's specifically kind of synthesizer quest. So in the future, will there be more? So
Yes.
not just synthesizer, but like different communities as well.
Yeah, that's how I am planning to connect all communities with each other,
Yeah,
because they will all have their own quest within this system that they actually get to complete. So I'm currently talking with Cohen to do a piano quest. I'm talking um, with Cody to do a balanced creator quest. Uh, then we'll probably do an ADHD quest with Mike, or like really connecting all of these, like achieving greatness quest with Harut, build your free community with Ryan, like all of these quests. And then I think the community leader is a little bit like the um the the
Like
guide who hands
givers.
out these quests.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, and um with Kevin's new community on like network with data, I think we can add on top of that very nicely. Um so yeah, then I didn't so then also just generally your mission. I think this is what everyone should somewhat like figure out, like
for sure.
what you enjoy, what you're good at, what does the world need, so you know in which direction you're going. And the journey, the guides, and the ideas is probably gonna be separate videos that I'm gonna make. Like I already did some, but they were not as direct. And Dio is actually calling in. So Dio, how's it going?
Hey, how are you
Good to
doing?
see you.
What's up? Hey, how y'all doing?
Awesome, awesome. Better when you joined. So,
Wait, can you hear me?
yeah,
We hear you
yeah,
perfectly.
Okay, okay, okay. Let me increase the audio. Yeah, I was just checking into your community, and I saw that you had a call, so I just joined, and I didn't know that you were both already in here.
Yeah, that's kind of like the plan and the idea. One of my strategies is to, before I have the call, like I make a post and then I see like how many people I can add, so we can like all meet. I think next week I'm gonna do Ryan's strategy and just like adding
Mhm.
people's email to the calendar event. That kind of like worked out well for him. But like I'm curious on getting an update on your side. I don't think you know Sophia, so maybe you can also
we actually
give
know
like
each
a
other really well.
actually.
So, yeah,
Yeah, we were just on a call, I think yesterday with
yeah,
one of our guys.
yeah. We
So
tried.
that was why I was like shocked to like see y'all both on this call. I was like, hey, I literally just now saw her like yesterday.
That's cool.
But
Yeah.
random question.
Go ahead.
I recently read the book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. Is this community kind of based on that book? Or
Um,
did you get the title inspired from that book?
I have not read that specific book, but I'm going to
Okay.
read it now.
Yes, you should.
um, I'm currently reading 10,000 Hours of Play,
Hmm.
which is also very specific around the game of life.
Hmm.
And it's like one of the godfathers of gamification. So he came up with like a business concept and the Octalysis model. Maybe you've heard of that. Great book to figure out like how to motivate yourself or even like your clients, because like designing things like a game just makes sense if you want people to enjoy the journey, and ideally we want the customer journey to be as fun as possible. um but yeah, I'm definitely going to read the book. It's not inspired on that. The community is kind of inspired on, like I try to take the best pieces of everything. So
Hmm.
I was like, oh, like there's this cool concept of yoga that I can like see if I can include in there. There is like this fictional story on he who fights with monsters that I'm gonna like try and to include in here. There is like the gamification aspect, as well as the whole synthesizer roadmap on having like the only three things that matter, which are attract, convert, and deliver. And I just try to create a story or like a community that feels like a game that teaches you all the things that school just didn't, because I feel like there are so many pieces missing. And I'm not sure if you were here from the beginning, but we're talking a lot about um how can we make sure that like people actually stay within school and kind of like be part of a community. And I think this is just like pushing people into other communities. So I'm still really excited about your book club. So I want to see how far this goes, because like just adding that, and like reading is so important. So I know that at the moment you're more focused on like a side job, right?
So I'm working with me and Sophia are like are working for the same client, but I've been kind of focused on like helping him
Oh,
put
you're part of
he
Tribe.
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
I
Let's go.
actually
I
I
didn't know
think
that.
I've seen you on the join list. Did you also like join that community?
I was working with Tribe for Q1, and I helped a
Okay,
lot
okay, okay.
with the content creation process and the marketing side of things, and kind of
Okay.
like setting things up in Notion. And then it was kind of like for me time to kind of like focus more on just generally creating marketing and branding
Yeah.
and the way that like I was curious if this was actually Tribe because like the pro like I messaged you about your profile description. It's like
Yeah.
that feels similar. Like I, I I wasn't sure, but like I'm glad that you're part of Tribe. That's super cool.
Yeah, I feel
So
like we
you were
all
in
um
kind of
like
got
a
connected from there, which is pretty cool.
nice, nice.
Wait, it broke
So
up a bit. I didn't really hear that.
Yeah, I was saying that I feel like we all kind of got connected somewhat from Tribe because I found out about Lucas from
yeah,
Tribe and I found out about you from Tribe as well, which is pretty funny.
Okay, okay. I lucky
yeah.
found out both of y'all through I think Ryan's community because I think Sophia's also in there, and I think
Mm-hmm.
I've seen her on like in some of the chats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got connected through Tribe, but Dio, we both come from Ryan. Are you still part of his paid?
Of his paid, yeah. I just haven't been in there that much, just with everything that I've been like having going on.
Yeah, I
Nice.
mean, like
Okay.
from what I know, Daya was like doing five things at once. He's like in medical school, has like two side jobs, and then Tribe, if I'm not wrong. But like, I'm still super impressed with how he is just handling everything, basically.
Nice respect.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
since go ahead.
I'm not sure why, but it looks like for me at least, Sophia's audio is almost like mute.
Oh, really?
I heard
I
her
think it's
fine.
probably on. Yeah, I think it's likely something on my side.
But you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you like perfectly, and then hers
Mm-hmm.
is
Strange.
like I can barely hear it.
Okay, give me like 1 second.
I think it's like your quality seems to be a bit lower. Maybe
Yeah,
my
it might.
internet is better and it'll catch more things. But yeah, since this call is kind of like a strategy call and a game plan, I always want to kind of like see what's your current strategy, what's your game plan, like where you're headed. You're obviously part of Tribe, but Sophia just mentioned that you have a bunch of like other things going on. So I'm curious on
Yeah.
what's your plan, and like I always love to think big and see if I see some connections. So yeah, hit me.
With the game plan that I got right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Um. Okay, wait, so is the question what's my plan for juggling everything right now, or what's the plan with Tribe?
More like the game plan generally on where you're trying to go and like how
Alright.
the things that you are currently doing helping you to get there.
Okay, yeah. So let's see. I feel like everything I'm doing right now is helping me acquire skills that I feel will be very useful in the future, right? So like when I first joined school, I joined through someone named Hamza, right? Through him,
Oh yeah, I know Hansa.
I got into yeah. Through him, I networked and I connected with an ex or a school game winner for affiliates. I learned of Phyllis through him. I got connected to Ryan. I learned about school building through him. And now through Ryan, I got connected to Prince. Through Prince, got connected to Sheldon. And now through Sheldon, like every connection, I'm learning a different skill. And now with Sheldon, I'm applying everything that I've learned up on to that point. At the same time, I'm through him, I'm learning different things like leadership, um like leadership tactics, different I guess with him, I'm kind of applying now a lot of the things I kind of learned along the way, learning what it is like to kind of lead a team for like a project like this and kind of like to plan it out. And just, I guess the plan is to kind of, all of this is building different skills with the end goal of, I guess, the end goal, I guess, would be because the end goal is definitely like financial stability and like freedom, and these skills are things I'll be building towards that goal. And then I guess once I get that, I'm very interested in coding. So once I set
Coding.
everything up, yes, because after this, I actually one of the things, because Sophia says I do a bunch of stuff on the side, but one of the things I'm also doing is I'm developing a game, or I'm coding a game with a group of well, I say it's a group, but it's really just me and someone else. And I don't know, this is like my passion is just coding, business, and things of that nature. So I guess
Mhm.
everything I'm doing is building up skills, build up financial stability, freedom, so then I can just kind of focus more onto my passion.
Okay,
So
so you want to code to build a game, and like before you start doing that, you want to be financially independent. You don't have to worry about um kind of like paying the bills, and you get to go all in on the programming of that kind of game. Am I getting that right?
Yes, and I guess because it kind of sounds like what I'm doing now is a means to an end, but what I'm doing now to an extent, but I feel like I guess what I'm doing now is to lead me to a position where I can go all in on whatever it is I decide to do, right? Whether that is
Mm.
business, whether that is game development, whether that is, community building or whatever. So that's what the skills I'm acquiring right now is for.
Okay, so kind of like building the skills that allow you to make the choice in the future. So you don't know
Yeah.
exactly what you want, but you know that you want to have like a lot of choices. So yeah, sounds like that, like all of these skills will just enable you to actually go after the thing that you then decide to do. um so we're basically now at the end of the call. I'd love to hear more about the game. So I'm happy for you to just kind of like, you can, bro, actually make a post about the game that you want to develop. That would be so on brand, and I'd love to hear more about this, because like I know a bunch of game developers that I could also connect you to. So maybe like I don't want to put more things on your plate, but
Mhm.
I think the beauty of us being in this community game is the connections, is being connected to the right people. And just it sounds like you're building not just your skills but also your network. And
Yes.
with that network you will just have more possibilities and choices in the future. So yeah, I'd be happy to like, I really want to know what the game is about now.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, so kind of how it was is as a kid, I used to code a bunch, but then because of schooling and like my medical stuff, right? Not medical issues, but like medical school, all those types of stuff, it kind of changed focus. So I would say recently I decided to get back into it. So now I'm kind of reteaching myself the stuff from the basics. So now I'm doing a bunch of different like coding projects to build up a game. But it's not, I guess, the main game I want to make. It's kind of just like a practice game I'm gonna just launch, get some people in it, and then just do different reiterations.
Okay. Yeah, I think iterating is probably the most important thing. Because you need so much feedback to actually build a good game. So um yeah, the more feedback you have, and like before you actually start building it, just like talking to people. So you just being in this environment, you like starting to like talk with more people, get connected with more people, get their opinions and feedback on that. I think this will all push you in the direction that like you yeah, that just kind of like get you to the point where you can develop the kind of game or the software that you are meant to develop. All right, let's cut this off because I do want to watch the school news. I quite enjoyed last week's session, so yeah, that's kind of like why we're doing this beforehand, so we can just like catch up and chat a bit, talk about strategy, what's our strategy specifically in life, in business, in our health, in our relationships. So yeah, Dio would love to see you next week. We can chat more about the game. And yeah, otherwise, Sophia, I'm gonna see you tomorrow. So yeah, until then, guys, enjoy the journey.
Yeah. See you
All
soon.
right, I'm gonna see ya.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Peace.